Sometimes in life, we experience ups and downs. And some people also experience more emotional reaction than others as well. And some people may experience life like roller coasters. When you're in the top of mountains, you feel wonderful and this emotion is just so amazing. But then soon something happens and you just roll down to the bottom of the mountain. And then it is difficult to get up again. So how can we regulate this emotional ups and downs? And of course, we feel, as human beings, we feel both. When we are up, of course, wonderful. And when we are feeling kind of down or something negatively happening, we are sad. But instead of dwelling into these both emotions, how can we regulate? Because if we keep experiencing this roller coaster in life, it is exhausting. And it might bring you down, and also it can cause, for example, it can become like burnout as well. So how can we regulate? So I would like to share the concept of duality and non-duality. As you know, and I have shared this in my other video as well, we have two aspects, dual aspect, like, for example, the sun and the moon, light and shadow, happy and sad, morning and night. So everything in this life we experience, we have dual aspects. So for example, also positive and minus and yang, yin. So everything has both sides. Also up and down as well. And positive, negative, plus, minus. So everything in life, there is the other side. So when we experience wonderful news and we are just filled of so much joy, happiness, and we are like over the moon or whatever it's called, on top of the mountain, on top of the world. So that is wonderful. But even in this kind of reality, we have to remember there is other side as well. So if you are given a wonderful opportunity to, for example, to write a book, it's wonderful and you feel, yes, this is what I wanted. But of course, the downside of that, you have to focus on a few months and really have to have discipline every day to dedicate, and then we have to sacrifice certain other things. So without knowing the other side, if you just focus on the positive side or the light side, then if we don't see the shadow, then when we go into the shadow, then we think, oh my God, what happened? I didn't expect this. So when something really favorable things happens to us, we have to also remember there is also other side as well. So in that sense, then we can actually prepare ourselves when we go experience the opposite side. So then we can also bring our emotion to back and forth. Also, when unfortunate things happen to us, then we feel sad, we feel angry, or we feel worried, or lots of other shame or whatever the emotion that's emerge from our heart. And that is normal. But at the same time, instead of dwelling this, or can be disappointment as well. So instead of dwelling in this feeling and emotion, it is, of course, it is normal to react. We have a reaction. We, on this earth as a human being, it is normal. But then also there is other side. What is the other side of this coin? So when we are feeling like, especially if we start feeling like victim or the shame, it is very difficult to go to the other side. But then in this time, also it is a discipline. It's not just doing meditation and the yoga, but it's the course of the day. It is a discipline to find the other side of coin. or trying to be able to see the other side. So that, of course, can happen. You can, after doing meditation, regulate your heartbeat and staying calm. But then also we need to use our strengths to be able to go to the light side, something that we can appreciate, to be able to see from this experience, what am I experiencing? What can I experience for this? So when we are able to see both plus, minus, positive, negative, then we can actually become in the state of equilibrium or in the point of zero or the wholeness. So then you become whole, and then non-duality becomes non-duality. This is also very useful to think in this way. When we are motivated, when we have motivation, when we have goal, and we have acceleration and also break. And often, especially in positive thinking, if you follow for positive thinking, we feel, yes, I'm going to do this, and this is what I want to do. Then I'm inspired, and then you follow. So you accelerate. So you read probably, or you watch something, or you even go to the course for motivation, and you just accelerate as much, maybe 10. So you accelerate in full. And some people can also accelerate as much, and maybe your break will be like just small amount of break. But if you don't realize this shadow side, accompanying, accelerating, then it becomes like a break. So it could actually bring you, you're accelerating, then you are also putting the brake. Then the car, what happens? I'm not a good driver, but if you put accelerate and brake at the same time, I don't know what's going to happen. So that happens in our life as well. You accelerate, and then subconscious, without noticing, or in your subconsciousness, there are much brake you press, then it is very difficult and you will struggle, because what you show to outside and what's really in the bottom of your heart is saying is different, and then it causes suffering. And that also brings to the burnout and without noticing. So then it is important to, when we have, for example, motivations and aspirations, and what are things that I might come across or I might have to challenge or face. So then when you see the shadow side, then along the journey, when things comes up, we don't get emotionally distracted. We can just accept, yes, this is what I have to go through. So step by step, you can go forward. So then we can actually stay in the middle. This is also the case of Japanese aesthetics. For example, wabi-sabi, as I have already discussed and talked in video and shared. This wabi-sabi, the beauty and aesthetics of wabi-sabi is coming from the feeling of the shadow side. But then this is also when we can stay in the point of zero, noticing we have light and shadow, then started seeing the beauty when we are also in the shadow side. So that's the beautiful feeling emerge to appreciate even in the shadow side. So accepting both, allowing to see both side duality also help us to bring the wholeness. So this also applied to relationship as well, especially romantic relationship, especially when we can actually do this. It is one of the key in a long-lasting relationship. Because often in the beginning, we only see the light, the beautiful part of the relationship. And when the other side of the person emerge, then of course it can be kind of red flag or something that you should not, we did not see it. Maybe this is something that we should not accept, or we should not, for example, the violence, for example, it's not something that we can allow in the relationship. But other things, just little things about negative like something that you didn't like, that's also part of the package. So if you follow like just seeing this person as just perfect from just the light side or the plus side, and then when you see this minus side, the other side of the coin, and if something is acceptable as a package between the light and shadow, and then we should prepare that this is something that it comes together, then it is easier to see the relationship in wholeness and not just seeing the sunshine. And this also happens in the workplace as well, in the job as well. Always light and shadow, and plus and minus, and workplace, wherever also we are living as well. So when we can see both, then it becomes wholeness. It makes our life much easier, especially if you are emotional and if you're a person who has lots of reaction to something happen, you can just start incorporating this. And of course, it is wonderful to get excited, and also it is good to feel sad and express how we are feeling. But then at the same time, you can also use our logical mind to regulate how things works in this world. We can also apply this to ourselves as well. So we do lots of self-development, and we improve our skills, and we try to expand as a human being and develop and try to become better person probably every day. But however, we have also light and shadow in ourselves as well. So when we have the things that we cannot do, or we are not able to do that, this is also, of course, we can try to bring that to your positive side, but then it is wonderful to acknowledge and embrace. It is often difficult for the things that we are not able to and ask for help, especially when we are saying, okay, my positive side or my plus side is this, and my minus side is this. Then we can actually see as a whole. If we try to do everything that we are not suited and we cannot do, then it brings more and more disappointing feeling for ourselves. And we should make an effort, but acknowledging that what we can do, it takes courage as well. And then it is probably better to use this courage and the strength to acknowledge something that we cannot do and delegate and ask others for help. And that is probably to make effort by self without saying to anybody might be easier. But acknowledging something that we can not do, then it's accept that's part of us. So this positive and negative becomes whole. So we cannot actually change all the negative to the plus. So we can just acknowledge the shadow side as well. If you want to work with me on one-on-one coaching session, you can book a free intake call. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.